Hey everybody, we are back with Dino Crisis being ran by Astral Magnet, and he's brought a friend with him. He has brought Showtime, who is going to be doing some commentary on it. He's another person silly enough to run this game, so without further ado, I'll just chuck it over to Showtime.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Showtime. Thanks for that introduction, Flynn. Yeah, I am crazy enough to run this game, but you can blame nostalgia. It's a hell of a drug, as Astro likes to say. I'm actually like one of the few people that don't mind watching the cutscenes over and over again, although I will say I can get sick of them. But we're gonna enjoy some Dino memes, the movie today, so I'll pass it on to Astro.
Hi everybody, my name is Astral Magnet, and me and Showtime will be your hosts for the next 1 hour and 40 minutes of your sweet lives. I hope you're ready for some cutscenes and potentially a lot of memes. I will say this before I start, if there is any continues, oh god, there goes the game. If there is any continues, I will be making a donation towards the charity, because there's always that chance. But we've got 30 of them, so surely we're going to make it, right? So without further ado, I'm going to get started. This is Dino Crisis, any percent, normal. And I believe it was Wilma, is that correct?
That's correct. It is Wilma Flintstone. I was actually one of the people that voted for this costume.
That's a surprise. One day I'll get my battle suits. Okay then, let's do this.
Yeah. I do like the Wilma outfit, but I prefer to watch someone else run it because
Okay,
I don't know. It's just
this
kind
is
of
the
like an
first
RE3
checkpoint.
with the disco
Playtime
outfit
is
that Jill
officially
has.
over,
It
kiddies.
just seems to give me bad luck. I don't know why.
Something's wrong.
I don't have much of a problem with it. I mean, I just got a thing for the battle suit. You know, something about Monster Hunter gets me that way around with it. So, the start of this run is very much cutscene heavy, or at least. It's probably the least fun part of the run, to be honest. It's also got one of the worst dinosaurs in the game, so we'll look forward to that in just a few moments once Gail and Rick have done having a little bit of a bro time with each other.
That's right.
Hey,
That's right. And if
you
you
hear
were
what he just
interested
called
in
me?
running this,
Forget about it. Just let
yeah,
Gail
just be
handle
aware
this.
that there are a lot of cutscenes, and it's just
All
so
right,
if that doesn't bother you,
it's
then
clear.
I highly encourage you to get into it.
By all means, the more the
Uh,
merrier.
yeah. Astral did provide some dino facts in TIDS, as he calls it.
Okay, let's do this.
That I
I'll
will
infiltrate the
like a little bit of
facility
the
and
history of the
occupy the
game,
control room
and
on
I'll
the
be
first
going
floor.
over
I should
in
have
certain
access
parts of
to all the security
no
systems from
specific
there.
places, but just for the most
I'll
part, just like
contact you as soon as I
to
clear
provide
the
some
room.
cool fun facts.
We all like facts around here. We're pretty much just straight at the start, we're just running straight into a cutscene.
Let me guess. This is some of your handiwork,
Yep.
right?
Cutscenes, cutscenes, cutscenes.
We were not joking.
Grass is still warm. These guards were shooting at something very recent.
Fortunately enough, Mark W.
So who are they fighting?
This wasn't
exists.
much.
But
of a
I don't
fight.
know if actually I don't know
I
if
don't
Flynn
think these
has
guards
Mark
hit
W
anything
activated.
before getting sliced and diced.
Actually, no.
Whatever
But
they were shooting at came in through
if you guys are
there.
fans
Ripped
of
right through the
Dr.
steel
Kirk,
fence.
you're gonna see plenty of that later
Well,
in
the
the run.
hole is nice and clean.
I know Mogul's a fan of
Say
Dr.
you
Kirk.
could have done this.
Very funny.
Oh, easily.
Still need to figure
It might
out
be
what
it might be his
Kirk-
biggest fan.
Continue to sweep the area.
I think it's Mogul's spirit animal. But yeah, Astro's gonna be coming up to the first, like after he gets through these this first barrage of cutscenes. There's gonna be the first, I guess, quote unquote puzzle of the game. There's a lot of puzzles in this game, that you kind of have to memorize. I like to personally have a cheat sheet next to me when I run this game, and I'm sure Astral does too.
Never be a bad thing
How's
to
the
have just a
progress going
little
with the
reference,
security
but I
system?
mean, I guess sooner or later it's going to get stuck in my brain. My problem with this tends to be I grew up with the PAL version and the codes are different, so my brain tends to do that mammalian thing of thinking of two at once, so better just have a cheat sheet.
Yeah, and fun fact, yesterday when Astral
I'm
was
on it.
practicing, he accidentally chose the arrange mode and didn't even realize
What are you
it.
doing here?
And what that what
caught
that
the
does
last
is
part
it
of your
changes all the codes
conversation.
to the US
By
version.
the way, I found a key.
So he was like, "What the heck
Hand
is
it over.
going on?" And just figured
head
it out today,
outside.
actually, what the issue was. So he must have accidentally done that.
Never a dull moment in my life, I swear to God. Yeah, pretty much at the start here, you're just pretty much relying on a lot of execution. That's currently where a lot of my PBs sit. The RNG doesn't really start just quite yet. Any of the Dino runners will tell you their favourite part of the game is B3, which we'll get to in around 38-40 minutes. So strap yourselves in. We're in for the long haul.
That's right, sirs and madams. This game is really
That's disgusting.
execution focused, and from my experience,
been
the
eviscerated.
RNG that
Something
comes
tore
in
his
this game is
intestines
very
straight
much
out.
like the enemy layouts.
Look at those tooth marks.
And
It had to be some
just kind
sort
of like the
animal.
enemy behavior, like where the dinosaurs end up and stuff. So
Okay,
that's
let's move
like the
on.
more RNG heavy. Aside from that, it's very execution based. So think Resident Evil 1. And I've said this before. If you're a good runner at Resident Evil 1, then you'd most likely be a good runner at this game as well.
We're coming up to our first puzzle here.
Yeah, that is me. Am I a little quiet? I hope not. Yeah, here's the first puzzle. You just kind of just choose option 2, 3, and 2.
Yeah.
I'm on a little bit of a delay, by the way, so forgive me if I'm not completely matched.
It's okay, we're coming up to my favourite part of the game so far. This dinosaur can be really nice, he can also be an utter womble. I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to swear, and I'm very prolific with swearing, so I'll try and keep it on the down low.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard it's a hard task to avoid swearing in this game. So I think we'll forgive you.
Yeah, a lot of the puzzles are centered around, at least a good few of the puzzles are centered around red, green, blue, and white for whatever reason. Capcom were feeling the colours in this particular game.
What is this?
So with this dinosaur, you're best running back a little bit because a lot of the times he will get a little too close. He can give you a bit of a hard time. One of the worst particular situations where he can give you a hard time, in my opinion, is knocking the gun out of your hand, because then you run a massive risk of being put in bleed status, which you don't want right at the beginning. That was actually really bad RNG. We're about 5 seconds behind where I'd normally be when he's having a good day, so... You know, marathon memes.
Yeah, this is an example of RNG in this game for sure.
Got the control system back online. What's the situation over there?
So the situation with the story is pretty... It's pretty vague, even in the
So what's the bad news?
comics.
Did you run into some guards?
Unspecified government team goes into an island to basically look up a doctor who's been developing a type of third energy.
That's a good one.
He faked his own death, so we've got to go and pick him up because he went AWOL.
Barney?
This isn't a joke, you
Speaking
idiot. We were
of
just attacked by a big-ass lizard.
I might as well just go into the first fun fact that I did notice here. For anybody that's let's see. So for anybody that's played Dino Crisis 2, let me just go ahead and read this off here. So Paula, everybody's favorite Paula from Dino Crisis 2. I know we got some people in the chat. I see extra there. Paula was originally going to be Dr. Kirk's daughter. Early in Dino Crisis 2 development, the character was intended to be directly related to Dino Crisis 1, but was later scrapped in favor of the time-traveling story that we ended up with. So, if you guys remember Dino Crisis 2, I see Caladiri there as well, yep. This if you remember the story, it's a bit, you know, what the heck are they thinking kind of thing, but would have been cool to see like them incorporate Paula.
What's interesting about that as well is it's Dino Crisis 2 at the time wasn't as well received as the first one was. A lot of people who'd played the first one weren't as big as fans, and it ended up actually tanking by comparison, which is why you saw it in a lot of bargain bins. I picked up my copy of Dino Crisis 2 for something like £11. It'd only been out like about 3 months, 4 months.
It's honestly a shame, because Dino Crisis 1 is really awesome.
I just hope he's still alive.
And Dino Crisis 2,
Anyway, our first
I
priority
think
is to complete the
it went
mission.
more of an arcade direction.
What we ought to do
I
is just call
personally
the
don't
chopper
enjoy
and
it as
get
much as the
off
first
this
one,
death trap.
but I think
That's
the
a great
speedrun
idea.
for 2
But
looks
Cooper
like a
has
lot
the
of fun.
radio, and he's missing.
That's it though, isn't it? It's like a matter of like personal taste. I quite liked it. It reminded me of
Hey,
Contra,
what's with this
you know, that
radio?
kind of play style.
That's the
Yeah,
security
yeah,
monitor
just
for
like
the
action in
underground
your
area.
face, like
The camera's
just
offline.
tons of ammo and just go for it.
So I take it that means power still
And
hasn't
then
been restored
Dino
to the
Crisis 3.
Exactly. They must have that area wired to a different power
So,
system than the ground
anyways,
level.
Give me
We
my
can
damn
investigate
trilogy.
that area after we finished our sweep of the ground.
I've never played Dino Crisis 3, but
Okay. Then I'll take care of the
I've
shutters
seen
that
it,
are blocking
and
the way. You work your way in, grab the
let's just
dock,
pretend,
and then rendezvous
just
back
pretend
here.
that never happened.
So just when you think the cutscenes are over and you get to hit a door, there's another one.
Now, what I want to know is where those things are coming from.
And you got Rick here, the Brainiac, just pounding away on keyboard. A lot of good quotes in this game, I think. These cutscenes are just as campy as like Resident Evil, and like that's what gives it a good charm.
No, you're not wrong there.
Right, but since we're kind of close to the topic of I'd say like Dino Crisis 1 and 2 and talking about those two, Dino Crisis 1 sales. So I'm just gonna read off another fact here. Dino Crisis sold more copies,
Yep.
2.44 million units than Devil May Cry, Onimusha, and even Dead Rising. Overall series sales are 4.4 million.
Regina,
So yeah.
I took
You
care
just
of
think
the
about that for a moment. In Capcom sales, more than Dead Rising, which went over an absolute storm. That's crazy. Which goes to show you the popularity of Resident Evil at the time.
Ready? That was quick.
Yeah, I've
Thanks.
never really played. I can't say I've played Dead Rising before. I've seen it though, but yeah, that's kind of says a lot about Dino Crisis 1.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a big fan of Onimusha as a game. I know Suika is.
Oh yeah, for sure. Suika is a runner of the game. I have Onimusha on PS2, and I haven't beaten it, but I've played it long enough to understand what kind of game it is, and I think it's an awesome game.
Capcom were just going from strength to strength at the time, especially considering Devil May Cry was intended originally to be a Resident Evil game, the same as this was. But they had to just have it change direction because, Resident Evil was becoming too big for its own boots at the time, which everybody knows.
Yeah, I didn't know that. This was supposed to be a Resident Evil game? Like, that's confirmed? Cool. So yeah, again, apparently Dino Crisis was inspired by Aliens, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, which I think we all know. And I remember playing like Dino Crisis 2, thinking like the whole time that I'm like, man, this is just Jurassic Park, Lost World, the game. So this is mostly talking about Dino Crisis, but either way. It's saying this Jurassic Park was a big inspiration for Dino Crisis, in particular The Lost World. Aliens was also a big inspiration for the games, which isn't too surprising given the tight-knit laboratory corridors that you stumble through whilst hiding from big monsters.
Yeah, that claustrophobia feel was where they were going for with the game.
Yeah, so I could totally see that with this game, honestly. Like with it's very futuristic, where it's just like gray, dark, bluish backgrounds, that sort of thing at night. So, yeah, in the tunnels and the vents and stuff, it is very Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah,
I am.
yeah. Lost
Do
World
you
is
know
very
where I
hard.
can find Dr.
Yeah, that game's pretty crazy. I remember playing that.
Extra's not wrong with that. I do occasionally look over at the chat, it's just difficult. The start of this game's quite...
What are you talking about?
It's quite intensive on just paying attention to what you're doing. Doesn't seem like it, because it seems really chill with all the cutscenes, but if you're trying to PB in this game, you need to just be focused in for sure.
extremely vital.
Eventually it gets to a point where like you're just gonna see like a lot of game consistently. But I've actually edited a video taking out the cutscenes from this game, and it's roughly about 50 minutes to an hour of actual like gameplay in the speedrun. For a 1 hour 40-minute RTA.
Everybody's favourite star of the show, Big Terry.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Big Terry Man. So yeah, for anybody first time playing this game, like this is just
Memorable.
This is the part This is a very memorable part. And I do want to add in real quick. I haven't seen any other runner in this game before this game be able to do, or basically do the dodge that Astral does. He like moves to the left a little bit, like a little bit like closer to the T-Rex, like this crazy person, and proceeds to do a straight line to the door, which is just like, are you kidding me? So I haven't seen any other runner do that, so I just want to say it's actually not a bad strat. I think it's the fastest I've seen. So
Don't ask me why I chose to do it.
I won't.
Basically, it's just I was thinking at the time, how can I make myself faster, probably, and that's probably exactly why I do it.
Yep.
Start thinking like a speedrunner, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Astral is still on the journey to be a speedrunner. He's not quite there yet. Like I mean, this right now is kind of a casual playthrough. He's played it like once or twice. I've seen it. I've seen him at least beat the game one time.
Okay, the dinosaurs were nice, so let's not worry about them anymore. Those raptors are usually pretty kind, but you can get really occasionally a bit of bad luck with them. I think it's about as consistent as the bad luck you get with the first dinosaur in the game. I'd put it about 30% chance.
Really, I never have problems with that dinosaur, to be honest. I've always just go to his right hand side, and very, very, very rarely will I have any issues with that. So you know,
Gale, you're still
some people
alive.
just have it
Good
easier
timing.
in some places, some don't, I guess.
I'm not surprised. Hamo's taking notes. As soon as we said it was like
That's no
RE1, he was
lizard.
sold.
It's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Look,
I can see we
something's
got some
really
Dino Crisis
wrong with
runners
this
in chat.
place.
I saw
This
Killadair,
whole mission is
saw
gone south.
Extra, we got Stinger.
Hey, it's always eat or be eaten out.
Yeah, we're a pretty small community in terms of like speedrunning goes. Like definitely probably one of the smallest in Resident Evil, I would say, categories.
I mean, if you can
I've
stomach
gotta
the
hook up with Rick
cutscenes,
again.
like
My
honestly,
radio's
it's a
dead,
really
and
fun
he's the only
speedrun.
one who can fix
It's
it.
very long, but it's, you know, like I said, like if you can deal with all that stuff, then you're gonna have a good time with this game.
Yeah, and I
You
mean,
don't have to like grind for world record to get enjoyment out of it. If you want to, you can. It's grinding for a world record is when the cutscenes become like a problem, or if like you're grinding for like a really top time, that's when the cutscenes become a problem. Like if you're just wanting to like run this, you know, just for fun, like go for it.
yeah, so we need to head outside here to do another fuse puzzle, and we got lucky with the window memes, so that's good. Pretty much just a lot of running around and doing puzzles at the start of the game. There's nothing too crazy heavy going on. You know, just
So
go on, showtime.
I wanted to point out RNG in this section here. So you can in that room that kind of looked like, I guess, Terminator 2 hallway. With liquid metal. That's what I always referred it to. That little corner where the raptor can actually burst through the window, and on both different occasions, either when he was just on his way here or when he has to go back into the facility. So if that's an example of RNG in this game, and there actually is a good and bad RNG that I consider. I consider that he got the good RNG because if he was to have the raptor come out at that specific section, that means on the return he would have to deal with the raptor being in his way, like possibly like whipping him with the tail,
Yeah.
jumping on him, or
So,
whatever.
do we
Like
have
sometimes
power
it
yet?
could be like just right where you need to go. So if you don't get the raptor on that first pass, he's gonna come out the second pass, and you could just literally kick him off and run right to the vent. So that's just kind of why I consider it the good RNG.
Yeah, you better get used to cancelling a lot of maps as well while you're at it.
Oh yeah.
Interesting the raptors actually, because there's a couple of sections coming up that are going to be pretty useful to talk about why the raptors can be a little bit bejeged through these runs. It's not just because of them hitting you with your tail or grabbing you and putting you into bleed status. Most of the time it tends to be just their position when you come into the room.
Yeah, you never know where they're going.
You just want to mash all the buttons, shake off this little blighter. He's going to be pretty angry he didn't get his snack, but I mean, you know, this is Wilma. She ain't got time for that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now I'll do another Dino Facts. You guys have noticed that backgrounds are all 3D. So, game that was, you know, made by the same people that did Resident Evil, all that jazz, blah blah blah. So let me go ahead and read here. Dino Engine. So the choice to make
What's the emergency?
DC-1 a fully 3D
Gail just told me
engine
he
was
saw
ambitious,
someone on
but
the
sadly would
underground
end
monitor.
with it never being used again. Art teams found it
Flashed
highly
by
difficult to
pretty
add
quick.
detail to
I'm
3D
sure I saw
backgrounds,
something.
and it caused
Rick,
constant
open the
errors
shutter
with
to the underground
textures,
area.
which we all see in the final version of the game, of the original game.
What is it?
There's also an
It's a
entire
distress signal from one of
jungle
our team
scene
members.
removed from the
It
game
must be
due to
Cooper.
this, which included gorillas
Yeah,
before
or it
Mikami
might be
changed
Tom.
it to
He
dinosaurs.
infiltrated this facility,
So
posing as one
think
of the
about that for a
researchers.
second,
Can you
and
pinpoint
also
the
think
signal?
about like Dino Crisis
It's coming
2
from
and
outside
why
of
they
the building,
and the fact that
to
like
the
that game
east
is like
of the
all
rear
in the
entrance we
jungle.
came in
It's
from.
almost like they're just like, dude, we wanted to
Look,
make the jungle
we'll deal
so
with
bad
it later.
in the first game.
Our first
So it's like
priority
they're
is
kinda
the survivor
compensating
in the
for it.
underground. It could
Something
be
to
the
think
doc.
about.
Yeah, it leaves a lot of interesting questions in your mind because obviously we don't see the cutscenes. I've put them on skip because they're a bit of a nuisance, but
And what if it's
there's
a
actually a
trap?
fourth team member that comes in with us, and he gets scrant by the T-Rex. Pretty much his entire existence is to be in a cutscene, which is a shame, but
We're not
it makes me wonder that if the original direction was having that happen, you know, in the game's engine itself, but trying to have a jungle with those warped textures would have just been absolutely awful. I mean, just think of anything on the Nintendo 64 that's just like that complex in terms of structure, polygons, and you've got a recipe for
yeah.
disaster.
Oh yeah, easily. And you know this game's
really
style,
starting to
like
get on
it's
my
with the
nerves.
3D backgrounds, it like
Regina,
it
I'm
the
heading out
whole
to
like
investigate the
facility
underground.
thing, like laboratory thing where everything's like just very static looking. Maybe that's the reason why it is the way it is, and very dull at times for most of the game in terms of like presentation, just because it's just you know it's easier.
So we have to pick a couple of choices throughout the game. That was one of the mechanics they introduced in this title, which was decide with one or two of your teammates based on their personality and type, the choices they would make in those situations. So I do find that's rather interesting at times, but for most of the run, you pretty much just pick Gale's options because they're faster. Sorry to say, but you know, speedrunning. Normally I would only take one of these med packs, but because of this game, I'm going to take them both.
Yeah. So basically, like what it comes down to is Rick is the hippie and Gale is you know the jarhead, like guy that like Arnold Schwarzenegger guy that just wants to come in guns blazing.
Dr.
And just,
Kirk? Hey, wait!
There he goes.
hey. Get him.
So yeah, now we've got to do a bit of run around to get an ID card
What's going
so
on?
that we can even take a lift.
I have a positive ID on the doctor.
Sorry,
Hey, go
can
ahead.
I just jump in with a dono, chaps?
Be my guest?
Yeah, go for it.
I can see an elevator from here.
Why am I listening
Maybe I
to
can
this?
use that
Oh
to go
yeah,
down
I just
from the
realised
first
why I'm
floor.
looping because I'm listening to the stream. Sorry. We have got £30 plus £7.50 gift aid from Mr. Wham Bam saying a quid for every death. Also, I totally won that. No cap. Thank you, Wham. You're an absolute hero. Thank you so much, dude.
That's amazing, Wham.
Very, yeah, thanks. Very generous. Thank you so much.
All going to a great
Absolute
cause.
legend.
Bear with me a second.
So yeah, that was the basement section. It's actually like really quick. Well, you do come back to it later, but that's the first basement section.
Don't do it.
Yeah, a lot of the first part of the game is just like pretty much just it's like Resident Evil. You know, you just gain access to rooms the further that you couldn't get into, the further you go along the game, and yeah, not too much to talk about with that really.
Would be helpful if I could just keep my lines a little bit tighter, but you know, it's fine.
Well, you got this, sir.
As long as we get these fingerprints. This is like one of my big meme moments.
Oh yeah, this part. Yeah.
We've got those. Once I've done this code, I'll talk about something else that's a little bit related to the backgrounds, which is the reason why they chose the 3D game. I forgot to mention this before to Showtime, so but I'll just do this code quickly.
Yeah, so that the way that this puzzle works is you're supposed to like, and the reason why he took the fingerprints is so that he could be able to use it on this system to write the
Biometrics.
data. Yeah, to write the data to that. So now he's got a custom key card. You
Oh,
can actually
Jesus.
get like the ID from a couple other people just to kind of throw you off. But yeah, ultimately you need that guy that's in that main lobby. And I remember casually first playing this game, I got stuck so many times, and I'm sure all of y'all did too. That's one of the sections that you can easily get stuck on.
I found
Yeah,
two.
for sure, because you could have the prints from the guy out in the yard that we were in before, but have the code for the guy that was right by the lift there, so it's a bit of a pest. And especially if you're playing PAL and reading an American guide.
I'm going to continue working on the system.
God bless you, GameFAQs.
Oh man, GameFAQs back in the day. I don't go there very often anymore, but that was like that was like the place to go if you were like playing games at the time.
There was a good example of like the way the raptors can be in a room. Sometimes those guys can just be lying down together and completely body block you on the way past, and you'll see this quite a lot throughout the run. Generally, they could be in the way. They could be like right in front of the door. They could be miles away from the door. It really is just a total roll of the dice, if I can get my words right.
So on this, so you're gonna see a lot of these. You already saw one. You see how they have like these button mashing scenes where it says danger. Well, there's actually a reason for that. Apparently, this game, Shinji Mikami actually dubbed Dino Crisis a mechanic horror game and not a survival horror game. So an attempt to differentiate the two, Shinji Mikami called Dino Crisis panic horror. No, okay, that's redundant. That's what happens when you just read things. But yeah, so it's a panic horror game and not survival. It needed to be distinguished. That was actually a pretty good pterodactyl room. I could see that, you know, like it's not really I guess it's not really a survival game, but I mean, like, actually what I will argue though is that like it is in a sense due to the amount of like items you can get in this game casually.
There is the other side of it that it was overshadowed by Resident Evil in the end, which is why it just became known as one of the survival horror games. It's kind of lumped in with that category on the PlayStation 1, really, being so similar. So the 3D engine's interesting because one of the other reasons they'd picked it is because they were wanting like big control over the camera, which you'll notice a lot throughout this game, that the camera actually follows Regina really goddamn well, which is something you did not see even in early PlayStation games. I'm looking at you, Angel of Darkness, but at the end of the day, it's it's something that like was really difficult to do. So the game itself's very ambitious in certain places. It's just a shame that the engine itself was never reused. Or even built upon, for that fact.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is that according, like, apparently they decided to do 3D backgrounds though for Code Veronica, which turned out to be really well. But what I know about Code Veronica is that it was made by like the same team that did the Sega Saturn port for Resident Evil 1. So like it's a team from Sega that did it, like completely different guys. I don't know if that's 100% correct. Maybe there were some people from the original dev teams, but that's how they were able to get it to work so well, because, and it was also on a next gen system at the time. It wasn't PS1, I guess, but yeah. So maybe PS1 just couldn't. I mean, this is pretty good for a PS1 game, honestly. In my opinion.
Oh yeah, this looks fine. I mean, obviously we're running the classic Rebirth version, but you know, this looks fine. Don't know if anybody's ever played it on a CRT TV recently, but it looks fantastic. Especially those elements where there's lights. The lights look really good on the TV. That's another thing about the animations as well, actually, because I can see Mr. Richards mentioned Claire has Regina animations. They another reason for the 3D engine was to be able to actually add body animations to the characters as well. I know you won't see it so much in the faces because we're not talking about PlayStation 4 title here, but at the end of the day, it is what it is for the time.
I'm waiting for the Dino Crisis PS4 port. It's just as good as the CVX port. I'm waiting.
Yeah, aren't we all? So if you bear with me a moment, we've got our first other major puzzle of the game.
Everyone hates this puzzle. Everyone hates this puzzle. Why? Just look at it. Just look at it. And the worst thing is that
Look at it.
If you fuck this up, you're gonna lose a lot of time by default. So that's just like one of the reasons.
Yeah, the big time loss being the gas puzzle that's coming up shortly.
The gas puzzle is kind of fun. There's one thing though. There's one thing that the speedrun does do, and that is it completely defiles Regina's character, like good character. You know, it defiles her good name. The speedrun makes a murderer out of Regina.
Besmirches her.
Why, you ask? Because it's faster. That's why. So that's about as much as it goes into, but still shameful. Still shameful.
Yeah, that crane puzzle, it's a bit of a pest, but it gets a bit easier the more you sort of get used to it. I've had to sort of switch recently from looking at it visually and thinking about it in terms of sound, like the amount of beeps I can hear. Just makes it that little bit quicker when you're not relying on your sight. We want to go back through this way, not make a mistake and go through the vent. That's kind that the dinosaur's there as well, that's actually quite nice.
See, like, this remake, for example, is like good RNG. Like, he got the good RNG there, easily. Like, that raptor could have spawned by the door that he had to go to. And, like, you could, like, go a different... You'd have to, like, be forced to go, like, a different direction, which would take more time. So, that'll give you an idea of the RNG in this game for the most part.
So here's your first major aliens moment. Also a bit Terminator-y, I say, as well. Get off. Do you mind, sir? Thank you.
Get off, you bum.
I can spell laboratory right this time. Yay,
So
we can.
here's another DDK puzzle. This is like the first long one, I guess. Where like when you're done keying in and it automatically goes to the OK button. Fun fact, between the US and Japanese versions, all DDK puzzles are the same. I don't know if you already said that or not.
No, not at all. I mean, the DDK puzzles was, I would say, probably the more interesting addition for puzzles in the game. They were really thinking outside the box with those. That's not a menu situation.
It's a pretty cool idea. Like, the DDK puzzles, the way they work is you have to get like a disc and then like some other thing that you plug the disc into, and then plug it into the panel thing in order to even like activate the puzzle, and then you got to figure out puzzle. Like I love puzzles, and it's probably one of the reasons why I love this game is I do like the puzzles. They are barrels of fun, Mr. Christopher Richards. And I know that's not sarcasm.
Mr. Richards would never be sarcastic. Ever.
So yeah, here's what we were referring to before. Regina is a murderer in the speedrun. You're about to see why. Oh yeah, my man here just killed. Regina here just killed this doctor here. Because he didn't want to watch cutscene. What do you guys think of that? He didn't want to watch cutscene. He thought he could save some time here. Oh, I don't even know. Who should I be mad at? Gina or should I be mad at the doctor? Good question. I'd be mad at myself too.
I'd kill him with pleasure every time.
Yeah. Kill him with kindness.
With impunity.
Yeah. So yeah, if you actually don't kill that guy, with the gas. Like you actually purposely like increase the gas levels to toxic levels that will kill him. And reason being is because if you don't, you have to go through like a cutscene before he gives you that item. If you just kill him off and you just grab the item and just book it.
Okay. Another puzzle that I thought was rather interesting.
Oh, this is gonna bring a lot of nostalgia for anybody that's played this game as a kid. Seeing this puzzle.
And as an adult, they're not anywhere near as complex as you thought they were.
Remember when I was first getting into the speedrun? Like I did not know what the hell I was doing. And I remember like I was like when I was first doing runs with this game, I was just like I didn't even know what the solutions were. I just was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna like do it on the fly, like just figure it out like casually. Yeah, that's not a smart idea.
So now we're just going to go back around again. Just doing a little loop-to-loop round here at the moment. Praying that the really nice raptors here play nice. And that guy's just doing a little twirl, doing a little dance for the marathon.
Sure is. And Astral's actually getting some good RNG because at any time, and I hope I didn't jinx it.
Jinx myself enough.
Yeah, but at any time, like those. If you're just like watching this for the first time and you're like, oh man, this looks so easy, he's just running by all the raptors. That's just because he's not getting bad RNG. Those things can like, if they want to, they could just not even like wait for you to get too close to them. They could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna tail whip her. Or like, they might be in the mood to want to pounce on you. They might like while you're actually like running up to them, they might be getting ready to pounce on you. So it's just like the fact that he's running by all these dudes, like, and they're just pretty docile. That's the kind of RNG that you want in a run.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, you know, touch all this wood that I have around me, because for God's sake, it's only going to get worse in the B3 level. We're actually doing all right. All of my runs recently have been, I've been trying to get back up to PB level because I'd been off for a couple of months before this marathon. And let me tell you, I've been struggling to keep my runs under plus a minute. Which, you know, doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. He's losing his voice.
Yeah, this is,
Why? This operation
yeah,
is taking
this
way
is one of
too
those
long
games,
already.
actually, like, where you can be on, like, good pace all the way through up until you get to Terrytown, which is where all the tanky boys are. You guys are going to meet the tanky boys later.
Extra loves it. It's his favourite part of the game.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I know he'll be listening. Gotta love him. But he'll just tell you it's easy. Easy.
We didn't touch anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
I'll see what I can
But
do.
yeah, so you could have like, and that's another reason why people are afraid
wrong
of
with
this
this
run,
thing?
and for good reason.
Cool
I
it,
don't
Gale.
blame them.
We'll find a way
You can
out
get like
somehow.
super far, like yeah, you're on great pace and you get there, and then your run just dies because you know the game said no, and takes about like an hour, and at least over an hour of real time to get there.
Nice tile puzzle here.
It's just so easy to get ragdolled. Those things.
Yeah, that's one thing I think with this game. They went a little bit overboard with the puzzles, which, I mean, I've seen people on Twitch do casual runs before, and, you know, I've been in a couple of streams where, you know, they've not played it before, so they're like, oh, I'll jump in, I've heard it's really good, like Resident Evil, and they're just the poor guys are just running around for hours trying to figure out solutions to puzzles, which is great if you like thinking, but a video game's supposed to be as interactive as it is cerebral, and it can be a little bit of a pace killer sometimes, I think. And we all know what that's like, getting turned around in a game and stuck, so... But personally, I think you probably could have took a few puzzles out of it, and there's going to be one coming up shortly that really did not need to be in the game. I'm pretty sure it's only in the game because of PlayStation 1 memes, you know? And anybody who's played Vagrant Story might have an idea of what I'm talking about.
Forget it. If you can't
I'm
crack the
trying
code
to
before
figure
the
out what you're
dinosaurs
talking
rush
about.
in, you'll be completely trapped.
Well, I'll put it this way. Vagrant Story, Croc has a lot of them, Soul Reaver has quite a few of them.
Make your
I've
choice.
played all of those games.
Showtime showing himself up. Okay,
Let me
choice
take a
one
look-
again.
Let me take a look at the cheat sheet here.
So we're picking Gale's choice again because Gale's option is to basically just charge through the dinosaurs like a hero, bearing in mind that he's going to kill them all, but when we actually run through these corridors, none of the dinosaurs are in fact dead.
Well, kind of want to have them grouped together as long as you have enough space to get by them.
That was
But
close.
yeah, I see Mr. Christopher. Oh, God. See this? Oh. Okay. So, it gets really Monka-esque. It gets really, really Monka-esque. And you get hit once. If you get hit once, you actually can be on the road to just getting completely crapped on.
Okay. One more corridor, and then we'll have our first major cutscene of the run.
These dinosaurs will literally, like, lay an egg on you. So, hopefully you guys like eggs.
Well, we all know Flynn likes eggs. Wonder why that is.
Gale!
You're a lucky guy, Doc.
So yeah, this is like the first like
So
Dr. Kirk
this must be the
cutscene, like where you
elusive
actually get to
Dr.
know him.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Part of
Like
me
a date.
Gave us quite a run for our
It's a
money.
long cutscene, but part of me wants
get around,
you
don't
guys
you?
just to hear it out if you
Just
haven't
like
heard
a
this.
rat. You got this whole
A lot of
island
fun
set up
stuff.
as your little maze.
Well, I am glad I kept you entertained, tough guy.
Shut up.
I'm surprised they sent someone after me. I had heard
And
they
I apologize if
reported me
anybody
as
hears like a
deceased.
dog in the background.
If that's the way you
Barking?
want it, I'd be
There's
more
nothing
than
I can do
happy
about
to
that.
oblige. So what'll it be, genius?
Relax, Agent. My
Relax.
study is nearing its final stages. Magnificent, isn't it? But I can't leave before I've analyzed the final results.
I don't give spit about your results. I'm taking you back under orders, so shut up and follow me. Regina, locate the communication facility and call in the extraction chopper.
You can't do this! I have rights!
According to command, your government property, pal. I suggest you take
There
it
it
up with
is.
them.
Everyone's
No, they
favorite.
can't do this to me! They deserted me 3 years ago and now they want me back? This is preposterous!
Shut up.
Then shoot me, you idiot, you lame, flat-top, jar-headed...
Shut up. Where's the communication room?
Take the elevator up from the control room.
I need a card to access that elevator. I know you've got one. Hand it over, Doc.
Yeah, that's one thing they got really well in this game, is it the voice acting's really goddamn good, even if it is a bit beige in terms of choice of words.
I think it's better than the original. It's
So,
still definitely
we're all set
original
then.
Resident Evil.
I'll meet you at the
Um,
heliport.
It's definitely
Hey, wait,
campy
where are
and
you going?
cheesy, but yeah, the voice
I
acting
have a
isn't,
little
like,
unfinished business to
terrible.
If
take
you actually
care of.
read it on paper, it
I'll drop this guy off with Rick.
like as a script, it's pretty good.
Unfinished business.
It lacks its emotional moment, its character building, but okay. So I need to go through the other door and not make a fool of myself.
Right. So, so we just met Dr. Kirk. He's like the scientist
Ooh.
that Regina's team is here to capture, because he's basically responsible for this entire mess, the third energy and everything. So, a fun fact that Astral provided me here was third energy was created to combat climate change, and you actually saw like the third energy in action, like that orb was in the room before they went to go chase Dr. Kirk. But that is an example of the third energy. So it was actually created to combat climate change is the fact here. Ironic that creation of a new energy source to combat fossil fuel use would be the catalyst to bring dinosaurs back into the future. A time paradox in itself.
Shout outs to Ink Ribbon on YouTube.
Shoutouts to them. Never heard of them, but I will probably check them out.
Ink Ribbon's a pretty cool channel, man. It's mostly RE related, but yeah.
But real quick, before we get into this next section here, Rick and Gale were originally called Cyber and Bots. Cyber being cold-hearted and mechanical, and bots equal passionate and caring. I'm guessing that's just what their code names were during development.
That's correct.
I don't. Yeah, unless those are like code names, but like for the actual, like, since they're in the military or whatever division they are. I forget what it is. ERAT Trat. A certain someone that we all know.
I think it's SORT with this, isn't it? It's SORT. It's just an unnamed
Oh, is it?
government advisory. I want to say committee, but that's the wrong word. Organization.
Yeah. You don't need to know too much of the lore of this game to be a runner, clearly. But here's
What
like a really monkey.
The emergency lock on the second
of the
floor's
game.
just been activated.
And
I'm a bit
Astral's
busy right
going to
now.
just
Do
knock
something
out of the
about
park.
it.
Don't sweat it.
But,
I'll release the
yeah,
lock.
this is the T-Rex. Like, he's back, and he's still hungry. Apparently, Astral was able to run out of that room with the Astral Strat. He's pissed off about it.
Usually
So the way
pays to
that
listen to
this
the
works
audio
is-
here.
So the way that this works is it is RNG.
It's open. You're all
Oh, nice.
Here. You have visual cues and audio cues. Very good, very good. Didn't even get hit by the T-Rex. I didn't want to say it till now, because I didn't want to jinx it, but that's actually like one of the biggest heavy resets, if not the biggest heaviest reset point in the run.
I'll give you
He
the
can actually kill you
abridged
in one hit if you
Mission
don't know what you're
complete.
doing.
Scrub the
Um,
initial plans
he just,
and
like,
pick us
gobble
up
you
at
up.
the heliport immediately.
But the strat there is just you basically
This
kind of
entire island's a
what I do
bloodbath.
is
The
I
only
bait him
survivor
by
not on
backing
the
up a little
team is
bit,
the
then run
doctor.
into the corner. Everybody does some.
I'll give you the
I've
details
noticed that
later.
everyone
Just
does something
get back
different
here
there
and
on
pick
that
us up
fight.
ASAP.
Everybody does something
Roger,
different.
on my way.
You just basically, but the gist of it is it
The
doesn't matter
chopper's
how
on
you
its
get
way
there.
here.
Once you're in the corner,
Don't waste any
just
time.
you
And
kind of want to
remember,
wait for
use the
him
main
to like
entrance to get to the heliport.
to move back off the screen. When he's like fully off the screen is when you run to the other corner. He can either just move back off the screen again, or he can roar first, which is complete RNG.
Yeah.
So you just got to really pay attention to it and run into the adjacent corner accordingly. But that's just kind of how that fight works. So yeah, but he's through what I consider the most monkey-ass part of the run. Honestly, like if I'm on really, if you're besides the tanky boys, because I remember when I was first running this game, my heart, if I was on good pace, my heart would race at that.
Oh, go away, go away!
Uh-oh.
Don't do it!
So here, so this is totally normal.
That never happened.
Right, that's Monka S right there. Once they get you with the tail whip like that, it could be disaster. Like I was saying, you can actually struggle to get out of the stun lock. They actually can just stun lock. The game is clearly designed around if something like that happens, you pull your gun out and you shoot it. Since we're not doing that, Raptor can just stun lock you.
Unlike Resident Evil as well, Dino Crisis's damage values are pretty pitiful, to be honest. Even Regina's grenade launcher that's coming up in a moment, I've seen it take 2 grenade rounds to kill like a basic Raptor, which just, I think that was what they were going for with the panic, you know. You can bleed in this game, among other things, which is like poison, but, you know, it doesn't completely kill you.
Yeah, might as well talk about it for a sec, for sure. Yeah,
Go for it.
Like Astral said, it's when you bleed in this game, like you'll see Regina running, and then just be like splots of blood running behind her. This is usually triggered by certain attacks. Like if you get pounced on by a raptor, you're going to bleed. I've never seen it to where like if you get pounced on, like you don't end up bleeding. Oh, this is an example, real quick. This is an example of the Wilma costume. Is your guns are different. We didn't really talk about that. Like the pistol was like a bone, but the rest of the game you're gonna see Astral running around with a big old codfish, I guess. I don't even know what kind of fish this is.
Nondescript, prehistorically divine fish. Now, earlier I was talking about a puzzle that was really unnecessary, and if you were thinking correctly, you'd be guessing, that's right, a PS1 box puzzle, because we needed more of them, right?
Yeah. Give me some more boxes.
Because PlayStation 1 definitely does not have enough box puzzles. 100% needed more box puzzles. Well done, Sony.
Yeah. So I get this whole Reaver reference for sure, in the Croc reference. If you screw this up, you have to go back out and reset the room, and that just takes up so much time.
Oh god.
I will go back in a second when we have time to go over the bleeding. But bleeding, like Astral said, is just basically just you're poisoned, pretty much. Just lose HP slowly. Anyways, I'll go ahead and explain this one. This is a T-Rex fight. All he's doing is just holding down, aim, and action. That's all he's doing.
Regina, over here!
Right before you gain control of Regina, you're just gonna want to hold down, aim, and action.
Yep, if you don't do that, you're pretty much not going to get the quick kill at all. I think that's because it stops Regina from going backwards when the grenade launcher shoots. Is that right? Showtime?
Calm down.
My
Just
guess
have
is,
to find
yeah,
another
I mean,
way.
like, I'm guessing that since you're able to move while you're holding the aim button in this game, I think there are those, like, micro frames that if you're holding down, like, she backs up just enough to be able to allow the third shot to hit off. That's the only way I can make sense of it.
We'll have to find another way.
Yeah, it was some time running this before I learned that little tidbit. It's really handy having a community sometimes. I say sometimes. It's handy having a community. How rude of me. Give me a slap.
How about a little slap and tickle?
I'll take that too.
But you guys want to see an awesome reference to Jurassic Park: The Lost World? Or Jurassic Park, for that matter. I don't know if it's Lost World or not. I haven't seen it. But
Well, the book is called The Lost World, so...
okay. I read the book. This is ages ago, though. This is clearly, let's just say Jurassic Park. This is clearly a Jurassic Park reference. It does compies. It's almost criminal.
Don't do it, you little compy.
So I'll explain this really quick. The only reason why we're going in, or why he's like inspecting those documents on the bottom there that he just did. Why would you read documents in a speed run? What's the point? Think Resident Evil Code Veronica, where you have to inspect the the valve inputs in Antarctica.
Mean? Of course.
In order for that to work, or in order for you to like
let's get moving.
Solder, whatever you want to call it, the valve into an octagon.
I found a way out of here.
Right on, girl.
You have to inspect it first. So that's basically what's going on there. You have to read the documents, and once you read the documents, you're able to trigger this cutscene with Rick being finished with the repairs.
Yep, it's pretty monker-esque when you're just playing the game casually, and you'll get really mad with it.
Okay, we're
here
here.
Here's a very long cutscene, so if
we should be able to get to the underground port from here.
If you need a bathroom break, this is definitely a good spot for it.
Hurry! I'm worried
If
about
you're running,
Gil.
you're gonna figure out where the good
fearless
bathroom
leader.
breaks are.
Fine. Let's move out.
Oh yeah.
It's always a good place to make a coffee, a snack, bacon sandwich.
Exactly. Smoking a pancake, you know, whatever your cup of tea is. But yeah, bleeding. If Regina is bleeding, you use like a hemostat to cure it. You don't really need to do it right away. You kind of in the speedrun, you only pretty much have the one that you start. Well, there's the bone gun.
Junk must have blown a fuse.
You pretty much only have one to start with. You can be in fine. What I personally recommend is
Gale?
if you
Are you on floor
start to
B3?
bleed and you're in fine status, don't go to your menu and use a hemostat right away.
Gale,
Wait
it
until
looks like
like
there's a
you drop
port
into
nearby.
caution or
There's gotta
something
be a
if you
ship
ever
we
do,
can
because
use.
bleeding does go on away on its own.
Leave Kirk to me. You two get the
So
power
you
back
might as well
online
save
and
yourself
secure
an
our
extra
escape
menu if
route.
you can.
Right.
And just use the hemostat with the med kit.
I think the only time I wouldn't recommend not using it straight away is maybe when we're in B3 where we are now. Because I don't think you'd want to be at low health and then running around the car-sized dinosaurs we're about to meet up with.
Yes, we are entering B3, and I feel like I want Astral to talk about it.
Please don't make me talk about B3. I'll get so mad.
I mean, I could talk about it, but
I'll put it this way: the last time I did B3, which was just yesterday, I had 3 continues. I've never had 3 continues in a run before.
It was pretty bad. You were getting the bad RNG out of the way, dude.
Well, I'd like to think that, but I mean, I wouldn't mind if there is one, you know. I mean, I'm still going to donate anyway, but I wouldn't mind, you know. It's all for a good cause. My suffering for your charity.
Right. Win-win situation, sir.
Impossible to choke, sir.
Or not a win-win, sorry, a lose-win. What am I thinking? I guess really quick while we're waiting for the tanky boys. Let me just go over this really quick. There is a 6-part manua based on Dino Crisis. What is a manua? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically like a manga, but Chinese. It's like from China. What is exciting about this
I'll work on the
6-part
security system.
manhwa?
You handle our
It's
escape.
published in Hong Kong. Is color, unlike a manga. Detail alone in stills of the pages has to be seen to be appreciated. Events are even more epic than the game and extremely gory. Kirk even has a portable time device. Interesting. So, for any Dino Crisis lovers and enthusiasts out there, there is like a sort of comic book in Chinese.
There's some YouTube videos with somebody who translated a good bit of the story in it, which I think is really good. I'll try and mind on to look up who it is at some point. I'll throw it in chat a bit later on. What's really cool about that though particularly is there's some scenes where Kirk's literally just like about to be caught and he'll just press a button in his pocket, you know, like a typical mad scientist from like a cartoon, and then just disappears like laughing into the warp. It's really quite cool.
That's awesome. Show me the trailer, I guess, like the teaser or whatever for this game when it like back in the day, like on your Discord. And I was like, man, dude, no wonder why I wanted to play this game so much. It looks so, like it's a great game, but like the way that they did that commercial for it or whatever, it just made the game look so sick, so dark, you know, so like so edgy. I was just like, I couldn't help but think like the whole time, like yeah, as soon as you boot the game up, you get treated to that like super campy cutscene, so it's just like wah wah. No, but this game's really, really cool casually, to be honest. It's very, very long casually.
Yeah, it can be a very long game casually. I mean, to be honest with you though, you get to have like different kind of fun. There is like the shotgun, for example. You can mix up anesthetic into different like healing items, but you can also make poison darts, anesthetic darts, things like that. So there's a lot to play around with. Generally, you'll find bullets are completely useless.
Yeah, and I think the speedrun really misses that. Especially since there's a category called no weapon. It proves to you that you can actually beat the game without ever firing off a single bullet. And there's actually no melee weapons in this game. Shocker. Yeah. Just watching the speedrun in this game does not give this game enough justice. I've actually, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this. The idea of seeing if a kill-all run actually is possible in this game, and it would be a fun way to utilize like all the weapons and stuff for this game.
You could tell I had to think about that there because I was slowing down for like that second to last input. I was like,
Alright, don't even worry about it. This is what I tell people, dude. Like, just if you're on these train puzzles, you're better losing a few seconds having to think about it than putting the wrong one in. Trust me.
So yeah, I'm still currently learning a new method for it, but that's probably where a lot of my save is going to be. It's going to be in inputs, things like that. I noticed Stinger said those were nice pickups, and I've got to be honest, Stinger, that is the best I've ever done, those pickups.
You shouldn't have said that, dude. No, this is how it always is.
Yeah, we're only human around here, my friend. So, you might have noticed we've met the tanky boys finally.
But that's not even the worst part of it. Like, yeah, here we go. Alright, so, if you guys were wondering when the actual speedrun starts, it's right now. So what we're at least an hour into this RTA. So imagine resetting this far into the run. Oh yes, bless RNG in the chat, please.
Oh Jesus.
So this can go either way. This can go very well, or this can go really, really.
Hey!
So, okay, very good start. Very good start. Finally out of the early game. That's right, Trat.
If someone else have to tell Holy Soul for me, I didn't know about that poster until he's just mentioned it either. I'm gonna have to look for that now.
There's a Dino Crisis poster in RE3 in the hospital to see for a brief moment. Really? That's pretty cool. Have to look into that more. Oh, do you see that? Tratter believes in you, sir.
Shouldn't believe in me, sir. I'm a bum.
It's like when people get offended when you wish them luck. It's like, what do you mean, good luck? Don't think I can do it? My own?
Yeah, literally this moment here, we've just got to speak to Gale. Like, you cannot at all advance the game without speaking to Gale.
Gale!
You could do everything you need to do, but if you haven't spoke to Gale in this room for literally a split second, nothing else will happen. It's really weird.
It's a community meme with this game. Stall Bebe believes.
That's nice. Welcome in, Style Baby. How goes Pokemon Emerald?
So we're coming into like my least favorite part of the entire speedrun, honestly. This raptor here can actually okay, so once you panic off of him, right? You panic mash him off of you. Ooh, wait, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. I'm spoiling the suspense. Before you even pick this up and go to the next room, he can like grab you and all this fun stuff, right? So you make it to this room. There's two options. You can go to safe strat, which is what I imagine Astral's gonna do. And then there's the YOLO.
Well, don't mess around or anything, Dino. Oh, Jesus.
So this is the safe strat. Ooh. Okay. It takes a lot more time than just the YOLO, but you're almost guaranteed to not get hit. There's obviously, there's that small chance, but like, yeah, it's still really close. Like, the YOLO strat, you don't go around that long way. You just pick up that disc that was sitting there, and just try to exit out the double doors.
Okay.
You have like an 80% chance of getting pounced on, and then bleed.
That guy can be a little monker-esque as well. More often than not, if you step forward, he's going to whack you and then likely bite and stun lock you afterwards for a bit. Extra knows that I have a little trouble with this one quite a bit. And the other day, for example, I walked to the left and he still did it. So I decided this time I'm just going to wait for him.
see, that's another example of, I think everybody has their own strategy for that section. Where you just actually damage boosted you. Everyone has their own like different thing that works for them. For me, when I come down that vent, I wait for the raptor to take a single step, and once he's taken a single step, it'll basically cancel out him using his tail. Apparently, Astral said that it still doesn't work, but it's been like 100% consistent for me. So I don't know. Everybody has like their own.
I'm probably just doing it wrong, to be fair.
Regina, you're a pro.
It looks like this door leads to the port.
Yeah, Khalidi is right. Nothing in Beefreach.
Yeah, I saw that. He's not wrong.
It'll take a while before I can pop
Nope.
this open.
No, he's not.
Fun facts. I was curious as to why most of the Dino Crisis community was running Dino Crisis 2. Because when I first started running Dino Crisis 1, I noticed that a lot of the community
Sounds like we're not the only ones having
really into
problems.
Dino Crisis 2. So I'm like,
glad you're amused.
what is
But if that
so
guy gets
appealing.
eaten,
Turns
we're
out
going
it's
to have to
because it's
retrieve
shorter.
the key from that
I
dinosaur's
guess
stomach.
there's no tanky boys. So
You've got to
I'm
save
like,
him.
you know what? That makes sense. You know, Dino Crisis 2, that actually does make it for a pretty good speed game. Oh my gosh, we have Mogul coming in with the worst pyramid you can ever do. The worst kind of pyramid ever.
Did you even wash your hair that day?
Fun fact, I was hungover when I took that picture.
Oh man.
It was like 4 years ago. I just happened to have that I was looking for an emote to use, and I was just like, screw it, I'll just use that emote since I already have it finished.
Want to explain Showtime where we have to go up and down the stairs like idiots?
Oh yeah, perfect.
No.
Shout outs to Mogul really quick though. He's a Dino Crisis runner, or used to be. He's looking to do Dino Crisis too. But anyways, so the reason why he went that way, it's the complete wrong way. Like, why would you go up those stairs and down? Why would you risk going past the tanky boys? So what that does is that, long story short,
Don't do it.
Long story short, sorry, I'm actually just like on suspense here watching this. It shortens the cutscene that's coming up. There's a T-Rex cutscene coming up. If you go that way, basically what happens is the game recognizes that oh, the player's kind of gone way too far out of their way. So some time in the game has passed. That's Rick, by the way. That's a developer error, pretty sure. That was Rick's character model in the elevator. So yeah, basically you go up those stairs. The game kind of determines, all right, well, the player has, went too far out of the wrong way, so we're just going to advance game time to compensate, I guess, like, just because they wanted to, right? It's just like some sort of like quality of life thing, some realistic thing inside of that. So it makes the cutscene like so much shorter, and you end up just saving a bunch of time. Even going through that, the door, like going through a door twice and the stairs twice. IGT is how this game is tracked and pretty much judged on for speedruns, and the IGT freezes every time you go through a door transition. So if you like look at the timer right now, I don't know if you have an RTA timer going or not. It should freeze. So you can see that's stuck at 52:54. So any door load animation like will not count towards the in-game time. So that kind of gives us some incentive to go the wrong way. But you got to deal with tanky boys twice, so it's just that's the thing that speedrunners are willing to to risk for better times.
Yeah, you will have noticed I actually started to go the wrong way that way, and it's something I do pretty much every time I run this game. I just can't seem to break the habit, but what we had to do there was just reactivate the power so we could open the lift to get the keycard off all the people that were screaming on the radio just a few moments before. What I see as a bit of a shame is... Oh my Jesus. Whoa, okay, we got off okay. The cutscene actually opens with the T-Rex taking a bite out of a generator, which happens to be probably one of my favourite cutscenes in the game, I would say. I often tell him there's no time for snacks, because there really isn't. Not when you're speedrunning, but it's pretty cool to watch.
Don't you hate when speedruns ruin games?
I mean, I could have went and seen the cutscene, there's no harm in that. We're actually well on pace. My estimate's 120, so...
I gotta say, it's been a pretty good run so far, actually.
Yeah, still plenty of time to go through the B3 though, so we shall have to see what happens, but... So... We're now going to have to do a bit of a run around to make a time warp go away.
What
Astral's
is that?
in the time warp again.
I saw something like
So-
this in Kirk's personal lab.
Guess while this is going.
This could be a problem.
Let me see. I have a couple more history.
This vortex must be the
to go
side
over. Let me
effect
do
of the
one
third
more
energy
here.
experiment.
Apparently, there's a mobile Dino Crisis game called Dungeon and Chaos. closely mimics Dino Stalker, which is actually like a light gun game
to get around this thing?
for the
Either we
PS2,
find a way or we both end up
which I
as
actually could
dino
have bought.
droppings.
I saw
Not
it out in the
funny.
wild when I was out game
Okay.
shopping, but I'm
I'll
like,
pull up any
I
relevant
didn't feel
data
like,
on the computer.
you know, putting down the
Regina,
clams for
you
it.
search around for
But,
any possible clues or leads.
Anyways, it's a light gun game, so it closely mimics Dino Stalker and is vastly unknown in today's history. Rightly so, as it is often described as miserable, even for an early mobile game. I haven't had the opportunity to take a look at this game before this run here, but I would definitely try to see if you guys can Google it. It's called Dungeon in Chaos, but apparently it's a mobile Dino Crisis game that just completely failed.
Yeah, it was made around about the time that colour flip phones were popular. Slide phones. We're talking that era of mobile gaming. When you had like Doom RPG and things like that on the phone.
And so you are getting good RNG, it looks like, with these tanky boys. So I personally like to call this section of the game Terrytown. That was just kind of my own thing before I met the other Dino Crisis runners. Because I called them Terrys because their actual name is like a Terry something or whatnot. Like, see if I can Google it real quick. Like Terrazoid or something.
I'm not going to try and butcher it off the top of my head. I'll let you do it.
Dino Crisis. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows their real name, but it's like a Therizino. Therizino. So I just started calling him Terrys because I didn't know what else to call him. Like Terrys. So I call basically B3 Terrytown.
Yeah, you'll find that's a common distinction generally in the Dino Crisis 1 community. You tend to find there's a lot of crossover between the Dino 1 and the Dino 2 community as well. You know, because we haven't exactly got two really good games to go off.
The Dino Crisis community is really awesome. We're all pretty much about Dino Crisis 1 and 2. I personally like the first game better overall. There are a lot of people out there that like the second one, and apparently the speedrun is very interesting. So I am thinking to get into the Dino Crisis 2 run myself someday. So. You have it on PlayStation Network, the US version.
You'll be talking about the N-Gage port, won't you, Caladia? Which is the RE2 port to the N-Gage. That's miserable, by the way. It's a miserable port.
No, but the Dino Crisis community in general is just full of a bunch of like really awesome guys.
Okay. So we're just running around casually picking up some more DDK keys and codes again. This will be the last one of the game coming up.
Astral, why didn't you go through this door before?
That'll be because we didn't have the... Well, we didn't have the key card, but also the shutters, the laser shutters, they need to be opened like before.
It's the laser shutters.
Mm.
That's actually a commonly asked question by every new runner to this game. Is like, wait, why didn't we just do that before? It's like, well, because actually Rick, like Astral said, yeah, Rick activates the shutters.
Need the hacker mans.
That's right, sir.
Oh, that's a D.
Apparently his name is Bot.
So yeah, you know, no ego at all to have like your lab named after yourself there with the password. That's the wrong way.
No one will get it though because he's actually spelled it out for what it is, not like, you know, not DR period. That's what I would do. I would never break in. I would never think to put doctor, like spell it out. Seems like a pretty weak password. Yeah, you're probably right.
Not wrong in the slightest.
Yeah.
So pretty much this section of the game is... If you thought the beginning of the game was cutscene heavy, then boy, have we got something for you.
See if you can activate it.
Yeah, you can see that we're 58 minutes into the run. You must be thinking, oh man, we must be getting close, right?
Wrong.
Oh, because what world record is like 1 hour 15 minutes and so. Oh, yeah, we're almost there. That's IGT, my friends. So even though like Astral's got a 1 hour 17 in this game, yeah, it's gonna be much longer. So we hope that you guys brought the popcorn, because we weren't kidding. We said Dino memes in the movie.
So yeah, this section pretty much centers around something very similar to the early parts of the game. We actually need a card with Dr. Kirk's details in it, or his access would be the better way to put that. So we're going to have to do the old run around and get some more biometrics and chuck the code into the office and, run back around again. So it's a lot of fun.
Hey, this just in. Deer, we got our first sub 115 today in a non-segmented category. Huh. I did not know that. Pretty cool.
Was that for Mary by any chance? So yeah, we're going to pick up the fingerprints because, yeah. Just casually
And if you guys are wondering, apparently Dr. Kirk had like a packet of baked beans in his pocket. And he basically just like popped it all over dead body in the room and stuff, and it's an atrocious sight. You can think it's something else if you want, but it's baked beans, okay? Don't even try to fight it. 1:14:58 on hard mode.
Move.
Okay.
And what
Apparently
do you think
hard
they're
mode's
doing?
faster.
Carving a name for
I
myself.
remember when
in
hard mode
history
first
with
came
the
out,
ultimate
like I noticed
energy
that like
source.
the world record was
Open your
faster
eyes,
than
you
80%
freak.
world record.
Your precious creation is
So that's
nothing more
cool.
than another weapon to be misused.
Yep, so we've got a
Hell yeah.
3-minute
You
cutscene
seem
or
to
so,
have
so
some degree of
strap yourselves
superficial
in.
Intelligence.
Get
It's
your
too
Kirk
bad that
W's
it is
out.
wasted on one who is about to die.
Notice the bone.
Rick, our target has been secured.
Bone gun.
Report here immediately.
It's only marginally faster.
Sorry to interrupt your lecture, Doc.
3 to 8 seconds.
You were saying?
Yes, I was saying. I discovered how the third energy could affect
Run
space if
faster
it
with the
ran
shotgun.
unchecked 3 years ago. I thought that the
Learn a
energy
new thing
had
every
the
day.
ability to transfer selective space to an alternate time-space continuum. But I
Only the
was
first
incorrect.
raptor is quicker.
The space was not transferred, it was exchanged. To put it in terms that even you can
Yeah, I think I
understand,
remember Mudkicker doing that
third energy
when I
has
was
the
watching
ability
Hard when
to
it first
replace
came
a
in.
pocket in space
I have
with
not
one
seen
from a
any hard
different
mode
time.
runs of this game.
What?
Yet.
Yes,
I do
I
want
came
to
to these
check it out
conclusions
someday.
following
For
this
sure.
evening's
Right
final
now,
experiment.
the main
You've seen the effects yourself.
categories I run
Those
both on
beasts
PC and
We're
console.
occupying the space this
and
facility is
I
located
do
on
any
almost
percent and no
65
weapon.
million years ago.
I just haven't felt the need
So
to
that's
do
how
best
those
ending.
dinosaurs appeared in our time.
But I feel that hard mode is
Precisely.
something I might
And
want to check out.
that is what I have done.
Uh-huh. And how many people were sacrificed before you made this discovery?
Who cares? The numbers are quite irrelevant.
But it's always fun to watch these
Let's
cutscenes
just
in
say that
different
there were
outfits.
many.
I'm really
Extraordinary
amused. It
deaths.
still says Resident Evil.
Men, don't you think?
Spoken like a true devil.
No distinction
God
between
or
ah,
a
the
devil?
Marathon channel.
I don't care about that. Only my experiment.
Does it? It says Dino Crisis on mine.
Only one thing matters.
It
at
must
this
be
point. Your
must be
grand
blip on mine.
invention is blocking our escape.
You need
Maybe,
to
sir.
destroy the vortex.
Trying to tell me
The only
something.
way to do that is to
Maybe
allow
it's
the
one of those
generator's
Dino
third
memes
energy
again.
levels to overload. Theoretically speaking, the third energy and the vortex will cancel each other out if they come
This
in
game
contact with one another.
does have a reputation
But
for
there is one
being
small catch.
Resident Evil
If
of
you
dinosaurs.
cannot stop the generator's third energy overload, this entire region may be shifted to another point in the space.
Thank you for the good looks, Mr. Worms.
Then we'll just make sure to be somewhere else when the shift happens.
But
No
there still is a lot of run left.
But we couldn't even activate the device.
Although we are kind of getting.
You're
the end
missing the
game.
initializer and
We're actually
stabilizer,
we're
right?
actually after this
Where
cutscene,
are they?
actually going to be entering the final if you don't count the final
Calm
T-Rex,
down.
of course.
They should be stored in one of the security level
the
A
final
rooms on floor
most
B3.
section of the speedrun, because we're
Very
gonna have to
good,
go
Doc.
through Terrytown.
Now you understand
Again.
our situation. We live, you live.
So it's one of those situations where it's like if you're kind of low on medkits or whatever, you can run it and go get a medkit in the room where Gale just took Dr. Kirk. It is a thing, but it is time law.
Okay.
It's a pretty considerable amount of time that you can lose doing that. But if you're new to the run,
I'll keep an eye
which
on
when
the
I
doctor.
was, I definitely ran in there to
Regina,
grab
you
the
go
medkit in
find
the
those
corner.
devices and overload the
So
third
if you're
energy.
feeling like
Remember,
you're low on
they're in a
medkits, I would
security
definitely
level A
grab
room on
one.
floor B3.
If you're on PB pace.
There's a goddamn medkit in there?
Crawling with dinosaurs, including that
That?
T-Rex.
No.
Let's get this situation
Yeah, in
under
that
control
room
before
where it's
charging
like,
off.
you know,
Here,
quiet please or
take
whatever
this.
it says.
God damn it.
Yeah, there's a medkit. There's a
This
medkit in there.
contains the draft plans for the
This would normally be a moment where I would swear a profanity, but no, I honestly didn't know. I was always going off. There's like boxes you open with plugs in this game, so.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's very
Regina
true.
doesn't have
So
the technical knowledge for
getting a
that.
plug is actually
We don't even
one
know
of
if
the
all
worst
the
things
right
you can do, in my
parts are
opinion.
there.
Because, like,
We'd be
it goes
better
into,
off
it goes
simply
into
trying
like
to
the,
hunt down the
it goes into the
completed
key item
devices.
section, right?
It's
I'm
too
pretty sure.
dangerous down there. She
And
won't make it.
It's your
that
call then, Regina. You're the
will
one who has
screw
to
up
do
with
this.
your menus
So what's your choice?
if you accidentally pick up a plug.
Okay.
So
let's
the
do
gist
it.
of that cutscene there was we're going to need to get the initializer and the stabilizer to activate the third energy generator. And we had two options. We could either go with Gale's option, which is more dangerous, but we get to go and get the complete item, or we can go with Rick's option, which is naturally slower, and go and play what I can only describe as a really irritating puzzle game. So we'll just avoid that and go running back through hell.
If it's your first time playing this game, I highly recommend choosing Rick's options. There's actually even been talk about. Okay, that guy makes me nervous, especially when he's on the ground. There's actually been discussions of certain people wanting to have a Rick percent. So I don't know. It's just it makes the game this long game, already a long game, much longer. So I can understand why some people wouldn't be interested in it, but you can also see the appeal like of people that would want to do it because it's almost like a completely different game, honestly. So I mean, if you're playing this casually, I'd recommend doing Rick's sessions first. It's like, yeah, you have like extra puzzles. There is one very frustrating puzzle that right before you meet Dr. Kirk, like you get the option to either chase him or go the alternate route. If you choose Rick's way, then you end up having to do like this memory puzzle that you're gonna fail if you don't have like a notebook or something to jot them down. Like I just didn't have the brain power to memorize it. I don't know, maybe you're Albert Einstein or whoever's got the best memory in the world, but
Believe it or not, the puzzle's actually pretty easy. It's just the you know when you get a puzzle with they give you the solutions in documents, and they're actually more confusing than the actual puzzle is, which is a bit of a shame. So casually, it can be a bit of a pain to do.
kind of like the picture puzzle in Code Veronica.
Yeah. Anybody's familiar with
just
picking
like-
up Alexia's vase or Alexandra or whatever her name is?
Yeah, so like apparently the document in that one just makes it super confusing. Wow, you're getting some real good luck here. You do have one more pass, and you have plenty of medkits as far as I saw. And I don't think I've seen you go into bleeding status this whole run. So
I made a quick decision to try going the other side there because I've never seen them be right by the door before. I think I got lucky, but I'll remember that choice next time. As long as I can remember to go in a straight line and not curve around every room.
yeah. That's right, Stinger. We are in the home stretch. Vince, get comfy, sir. Oh, and F you, by the way, Vince. But yeah, this is definitely the final stretch of the game. Once you're done with this, once you get through this section here, you're gonna have to. He's got to backtrack all the way back, But once you can get through the tanky boys officially, then you could pretty much relax at this point. The rest of the run pretty much is just really relies on movement and knowing where to go throughout. There is the final T-Rex in this game, which is very Monka-esque. And if you're not comfortable with the final T-Rex, there are backup grenades that you can get before the helicopter T-Rex, where you just like hold the down aim and fire.
Don't do it.
Sorry, so yeah, if you're not comfortable with the final T-Rex, he can actually one-shot you, and he just eats you in one shot if you're too slow. The only way to prevent that is grenade rounds, and the extra grenade rounds that you can pick up on the run route are before the helicopter T-Rex fight. So if you're new to the run, that's definitely something good to pick up if you're not confident with the final T-Rex. Otherwise, you don't even need your weapon at this point. But that would be technically the final Monka S moment. Hey, welcome, Suika and Raiders.
Fight me, dinosaur. Fight me.
And that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all you got to worry about.
I got a 3-second time save on that. And we just lost it.
So right here is RNG. Basically, depending on how far away you are from the Terries or the tanky boys, rather, depending on how far away you are when you go into the next door, they either will or won't pop into the next room. Sorry, the dog that I live with is barking like crazy right now. He must have found, or she must have found out that Astral's on a really good run, which is really pissed off. Well, he's not going to be able to donate anymore.
Announcement. Please place the initializer and the stabilizer in the generator.
That screen always reminds me of Star Trek, and don't ask me why. I think it's just very futuristic-esque, you know what I mean? Like a Klingon screen or something. Really showing my nerdism now. So we're going to go and activate these parts of the generator. I learnt from Extra just the other day that you can actually activate this on the right-hand side. You don't need to run all the way to the end of the elevator, which is, you know, every little bit helps, as they say.
That's actually something that I didn't discover right away either. It's kind of fun to figure that out.
I
totally forgot what I was talking about from before. The tanky boys.
It's all good, because I do believe you've got one final Game Boy related fact, haven't you? Showtime.
Oh yeah, sure. Why don't we do that?
Might as well. I thought this was interesting.
If I can remember what I was talking about with those tanky boys. There was once a Dino Crisis 1 port to the Game Boy Color. Believe it or not, so this kind of goes hand in hand with that mobile Dino Crisis, Dungeon and Chaos. But yeah, there was a DC1 port to the Game Boy Color. It was developed by the same team that brought us Resident Evil Gaiden. This title was intended to be a top-down shooter, but never got out of the alpha stages for unknown reasons. Though graphically, it was impressive. And there was also a canceled Game Boy Advance game that had over 100 rooms, 6 areas, and static backgrounds. You guys can't see it, but I'm looking at a picture from it, so maybe if you Googled it, doesn't see that there's a name, but it actually looks like it would have been cool. Like, it's got a really cool art style.
Yeah, I actually think the Dino Crisis Game Boy game had a lot more potential than what we actually eventually got with Gaiden. Gaiden was good, but Dino Crisis seemed to work better with the premise. There's some screenshots in various magazines for it. The Game Boy Advance one would have been extremely interesting, but as with all things related to Dino Crisis, we just never got enough of it.
Right. I actually kind of want to play it myself. I wonder if there's like there's some sort of like early build out there or emulator. But if it was made by the same people that brought us RE or Gaiden, whatever, I don't know if I'd want to play it. To be honest, just to try it out, because I don't know, music though, like I don't know, RE Gaiden, I've never played it. Watch people stream it, but just like the music though, the music, I can't get enough of it, right?
Yeah, but no joke, that screenshot I left for Showtime, it looks really good for a Game Boy game. I'm a big fan and advocate of the Game Boy. I actually write for a Game Boy club regularly, like a WordPress site, where we do kind of like Game of the Month and share black and white Game Boy games, but Nintendo really knocked it out the park with that line of consoles, and it'll be hard for them to ever follow suit with something like that again, even with the Switch. Like, it can't even compare. Game Boy went over just that well. Would have been nice though.
Fun fact, Astral is a writer, a journalist, if you will. I've actually read some of his work. Good.
Yep, currently working on a piece about the Resident Evil mod scene, so that's quite exciting, getting to talk to different modders and people who've been around in the early days of making Resident Evil mods. Shout-outs to Mr. Lewis, or Can You See Him on Twitch, who plays mods a hell of a lot. That guy is a legend, and if you like your Resident Evil mods, I do suggest you go and check the guy out sometime. He's got one hell of an entertaining stream.
Sure. I just remember what I forgot I was going to say, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind you forgetting what you were going to say.
Ah, good, I'm glad. So I was talking about the tanky boys going through the doors. Tanky boys, so like if they're far enough, they won't go through the door. If they're close enough, they will go through the door. So in that elevator scene where he was joking about making like 3 seconds or something like, or losing 3 seconds, it's RNG where you can actually save time there and not have that cutscene of the tanky boy going through the door. You just go right to the elevator. But I wanted to say that really quick, but yeah, definitely go check out.
What's the point in saving me?
And Mr. Christopher Richards, for sure. Really cool. Dudes.
Yeah, it can happen quite frequently, the tanky ones coming through the door. It's not as common with the Raptors because it tends to be quite the same place each time, but with the tanky boys you can get it loads in a run, 0 times in a run. It's just a bit of a crapshoot. But any speedrun will tell you RNG moments are common, so what are you going to do?
But yeah, but even so, like, this game does have a lot of execution. It's like one of the weirdest balanced games of execution. I'd say.
Okay.
I've come across.
Just get Kurt.
Like, I know we're all familiar with RE3.
Take it easy, Gale.
No. Take this.
RE3 is there's obviously execution involved, but there's also a lot of roll of the dice. Like, you can have the best execution and still not do very well on your run.
Don't do what I do and get really relaxed in cutscenes, because there's moments of doing that. Get too complacent sometimes. One of the best lines of the game.
Just a little more. Looking good.
One of the best lines of the game?
Well, 2 of the best lines, I think.
I don't know,
Coming up.
but Kirk's gone.
I'm gonna kill him.
I actually can't hear anything on my end other than your voice.
This is it. All that's left is our escape. Let's go.
Wait, what about Kirk?
What about
Just
him?
think of do something.
It's a miracle we're still alive at this point. Forget about him.
Don't forget the mission.
That's right, Mr. Christopher.
You're not here
Richards.
to
Roll the dice,
babysit.
pay the price.
To be honest, it's the only thing I would say is a shame is I don't get to show you a good moment in the 100%, which is you go down to the helicopter and Regina pretty much roundhouse kicks Kirk to the face, which is a beautiful moment.
Don't you remember our situation? The third energy can't be
So we want to pick the second choice here. This is the only time in the game, or the speedrun in this particular moment, you'll side with Rick. This is the one required to pick any percent.
basically run dead if you don't get this choice correct. I do want to point out a similarity really quick with this and Resident Evil 3 speedrun.
Thanks.
It's pretty much the same
G.I.
thing in
Joe
RE3
deserved
speedrun,
it.
like
Come
when
on.
Nemesis attacks you. You know, when you get to those like introverted screens or what have you, the contrast screens. I forget what that's called, but and you got to make a decision of what you want to do when Nemesis is there. RE3 is always the first choice up until the very last one. You choose the second one. Same thing with this game. It's always the first choice, and then the last one is the second. So thought that was an interesting similarity between the two games.
Get your jamming emotes out. It's time for cat jams. It's time for good luck ons. Time for all the Pepe with headphones. It's the home run, baby. It's coming. That's a sign. Well done, Virginia. Well done. How many of you guys out there like Nuclear Fuel?
Okay, let's get out of here.
We can't. At least not yet. It needs fuel and some repairs before it'll move.
I'll take care of the fuel then.
It looks like this thing's powered by some type of nuclear energy. Here.
Sorry, I'm muting
put
right
the
now because
fuel
my
in
dog is
this.
out of control.
It'd be wrong to have the end of the game without having to cancel the map one more time. Thank you. So we're just going to go outside, casually handle some nuclear fuel in a Wilma Flintstone dress without any PPE. And run back.
So for me, this game has like really weird music, like but like also very like catchy and like upbeat music. So like I'm running this game, I will like, dance with my shoulders. I don't know if Flynn has it, but that's the emote that I pretty
It's
much
the T-Rex
use
again.
Dancing like.
Leave him to me.
Please. I
You
don't know
just
if you
work
guys
on
are
getting
familiar
that thing
with
fixed.
But that's
Right.
kind of the way that I dance.
Hold up,
in this
Regina.
game
Take this.
when I'm doing runs.
Right, guys, this is it. I want you to all welcome the 3 times world champion, eater of snacks, destroyer of bulkheads. It is the big Terrence Terry. Here he is.
In the left corner, we have Big Terrence. He comes in, he's not looking too happy. In the other corner, we have Astral Magnet. He's looking a little monka-esque right now, but we have
Intruder
confidence.
detected at
Our
port.
local hero.
Lockdown in progress.
Do it. John Cena.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That is the only moment of singing you're going to get out of me.
Okay, so all he's doing is running around this, but there are things you can get caught on if you're not doing
And
the
time.
right lines. He's going to eat you.
The
And
final
GG.
report of Operation
Yeah.
Dr. Kirk.
And it is as simple as that, my
Today,
friends.
Regina.
Do do do
Dr.
do.
Kirk.
Winner
Status
is Astral
unknown.
Magnet.
Due to unforeseen elements of the area, we were unable to recapture Dr. Kirk.
Somebody
His
give this guy a
survival
belt.
is unknown.
Gale.
That's the title match one.
Status
So,
alive.
that was Dino Crisis.
Gale
Any
did
percent?
survive, but he is seriously
My
injured
prediction
and
on
is
that was
currently
pretty
recovering
spot
in a
on
local
because
medical facility.
I said under 120, that was a 117.56. That's only 20-something seconds away from my own PB, which I think's pretty damn good for a marathon run. We didn't get cooked at all in B3, really. In fact, I actually had better dodges than I normally have.
As for
Thank you very much for the
myself, I'm ready
GGs,
to begin
people.
my next assignment.
At first, that was quite stressful.
Tom. Status.
Yeah, very well
Deceased.
deserved GGs
Tom
in the
was
chat here.
attacked and killed by a giant reptile that was inhabiting
with
the
a GG
island.
there.
He will be missed.
Yeah,
Cooper.
you didn't die. You got
Status
sub 118
unknown.
in a marathon
We
setting.
lost contact
I'd
with
say you
Cooper
should
at
be
the
very
beginning
proud
of
of
the
yourself,
mission,
sir.
and have not heard from him since then.
I'm certainly feeling that way.
Mission complete.
So yeah, good work. Good work. Here's the final time. confirmation. This needs
Nicely
to be
done,
in
my
a
friend.
mission video.
Thank you very much, Flynn.
The thing is, the funny thing is if you do happen to die when
Operation
you're doing this game, there is
instructions.
a category called segmented, so you could always continue the run if you would like and submit that. But it all depends on what you're going for, what your focus is. This game's very long, so you kind of have to like decide what you want to do. Just reset or go for the segmented.
So yeah, that was pretty much Dino Crisis any percent. It's been an absolute pleasure for Flynn to let me come and show this all to you guys. We can't have too much Resident Evil in the marathon now. Unfortunately.
Trying to dress like a fucking bloke. Michael Jackson in that image there.
Oh man, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel that Astral should have wore like a dinosaur suit.
Oh man, I'd be too warm in that, I think. Well, I do have Yoshi. I mean, is that close enough for you? You know.
Actually,
I have got a treat for everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute your stream and I'm going to feed the Discord in because I want to play something to everyone who's watching. I think they might like this one. So you guys can listen to this as well. You can unmute the stream then, my stream. I'm pretty sure that means everyone now should be able to hear my mic, hear you too. Do you two want to talk?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm waiting for an ad. So give me 1 second. I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, same for me.
Sorry.
10 more seconds.
Yeah, I can see your stream. Got it muted, so it won't feedback.
Yes, I'm pretty sure everyone can hear my desktop because that's how they heard about liquid egg whites, baby. Right. I got no surprise for. I'm going to crank the volume up on this one.
What? Context, please.
That is Tratter losing a PB to RE3. One more time.
Plus 10.
Oh my gosh, we're bringing back PTSD.
I've literally got to listen to it one more time. Oh my god, I have seen that's my favourite clip. That is my favourite clip on the gift that keeps on giving, old Trator.
He pretty much is. He's got a very beautiful laugh.
Sweet, right? I will not BS anyone. The next run, the dude has literally just rocked up in the Discord now, so we're a little bit making sure he's getting sorted. If you want to hear more Tratter clips, start donating that money, folks. Start donating that money, and I'll put more on there for you.
Yep, I'm
Until
sliding
then,
down.
I'm cutting you all off.
Brilliant.
So this is your time, boys. Who do you want to? Who do you want to plug? Who do you want to?
I guess I'll start.
Discord, your Twitches, your Twitters, you know what?
I'd like to give a shout out to the Dino Crisis and the speedrun community in general for Resident Evil Capcom games. You guys have been very welcoming to me. That goes as far as everybody in the community and everybody in and around the community that I've met around since I've started speedrunning has been a very welcoming place. So if you like Dino Crisis, you like Resident Evil, get yourself in on those speedruns. Definitely go and check out Traitor Ensa Boado if you want to hear one of the finest laughs you'll ever hear. And that's about all really I've got to say. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to come and run Dino Crisis for FlynnStock. It's for an absolutely wonderful cause. Flynn does an absolute bang-up job. Mogul puts in a lot of work as well, along with the other guys. That I think that's Suika and I don't know who else I'm forgetting, but they'll kick my ass later, I'm sure. And it's always a pleasure to see them. So, anything you want to say, Showtime?
Yeah, pretty much stole the words out of my mouth. I was just gonna say, yeah, the Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, speedrunning communities are really, really awesome. I'm very happy for all the people that I've met. Personally, want to shout out Mogul for introducing me to a lot of the people that I know and have developed friendships with over Twitch. So thanks, Mogul, for bringing me in, and it's been really awesome meeting all of you guys. So yeah, just speedrunner doing whatever wherever you can to get by and just be a part of a community and all that fun stuff. I only have really one shameless self-promotion that I want to do that relates to Dino Crisis. If you guys are interested in learning Dino Crisis speedrun, if you're able to stomach the the cutscenes and whatnot and everything. If you ever had an interest to learn, I did make a video tutorial guide for it that's on the official speedrun.com guide section. So go check that out if you're interested in learning. But aside from that, yeah, the communities are really great. I highly recommend that you also join the Discord for Dino Crisis as well, which could be found on the speedrun.com page. A lot of awesome guys in there. So that will treat you well and everything. And again, amazing community, and thanks so much, Flynn, for the opportunity to be on FlynnStock as well, and for a great cause.
Yeah, thank you very much, Flynn.
Astral for inviting me in commentary. Thank you so much, sir.
That's no problem at all. So we're going to hand it back over to Flynn, sir. You enjoy the very rest of your marathon, and to everybody else here, have yourselves a good time.
Sweet, right. We shall transition out of here, folks, and we'll get the next one set up. And thank you, guys. That was a hell of a run. And Showtime, hands down, the best commentator. He went in there with facts. He was prepared, answered questions. I like the cut of his jib.
Appreciate that, sir. But
takes his role serious.
Appreciate that, sir. But I got to give credit to Astral for providing me the fun facts sheets. So he's the one that made that up for me. Yeah. So shout out to Astral.
Right. I forgot to do something, so I'll quickly do that, and then we will transition out of here, folks. Forgot to change the screen. There we are.
Take us away, Flynn.
Savage Brick is up next with Spore, so back in a sec, folks.
All right.
That's a wrap.
We out, boys. We out.
Awesome. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, man, that was probably the better run I've had a Dino Crisis in a month.
Yeah, oh my gosh, dude. Talk about marathon luck. It was like good marathon luck, dude. Like you couldn't have like for this sort of setting, that's the exact kind of run that you hope for. So
thank you for that, Flynn. I appreciate it, mate.
Dude. Extremely well.
Oh yeah. Get yourself on the back, sir.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and make my promised donation to Flynn's cause.
Too kind, Sylvester. Yeah, this guy never fucking rocked up, and then I was like, "The hell is it?" I was like, "He's not even in the fucking Discord."
Shit, it's always something to go on right towards the end of it. I'm really excited for this Zoolander percent. I've never heard of a Zoolander before, so it should be an interesting evening.
Didn't you see? Yeah, I never saw nobody's run yesterday.
No, yesterday was the one day I was busy. I was trying to get my practice in for this.
fucking RE2 is brutal compared to RE1. But RE1, oh, trying to do Plan 42 and everything like that as well.
Should be really exciting then. No, it's been great. Honestly, I was really nervous, but like I said to Showtime, it was by the time I got settled into the run, it was fine. It was just typical sort of never done something before anxiety, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah. How it goes.
Dude, you smashed it. You'd be on the next one, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Oh, jam.
We'll have to see what I'll bring along. I mean, I might be trying filter for 2 slots, but it depends how much time you've got, like usual, doesn't it? So, Dino Crisis is a long run, so apparently iGem needs us in his bedroom tonight. Showtime.
What's up?
Sounds about right. Do you want us to take off from here, Flynn, so you can invite your next one in?
Yeah, that's fine, boys. Thank you so much.
Now you take it easy, dude. And if I don't speak to you beforehand, make sure you get a good rest tonight. All right?
Oh, I will, mate. Mate, I just can't wait to hit the fucking gym tomorrow. You know what I mean? Get out of this fucking flat.
Back to the grind. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Sweet. All right, Showtime and Flynn. I'll catch you later, guys.
Thank you guys, honestly, absolutely amazing.
No problem, dude. No problem. Anytime.
Hey, Flynn. Thanks a lot, and keep up the good work with this this marathon, dude. You're doing great.
Thank you, boys. Honestly.